You're now listening to episode 70 of Signed In, an Xbox 360 podcast, recorded on May 29th, 2011. Find us online at signedinpodcast.com. Welcome back to Signed In. I am Jeremy Superfro33.
I'm Craig Propdresser.
And I'm Sean Shonix.
But I would like you guys for the rest of this episode to call me Rolo Tomasi.
Rolo Tomasi.
Yes.
I like Rolos.
No, in honor of...
Let's talk about some
in
honor
freezer.
of L.A. Confidential, in honor of L.A. Noire.
Okay.
Because I love me some L.A. Confidential. And I can't stop playing L.A. Noire.
Yeah, you can. You finished it.
So I'm going to take a nap.
Spoiler.
Yeah, but I'm going to replay some stuff. I'm going to take a nap, and you guys can wake me when I can talk about L.A. Noire.
Or we can not.
You can not
finish the show earlier.
You jackasses.
All right, Sean. This sounds like a good plan.
We'll set the alarm for you.
I hate you guys. So how are you guys?
Okay.
I'm good.
Good.
It is mighty wet
Aside from
outside.
planning excluding me from the rest of the show.
Yeah. No, I'm not as good as
typical.
I was. I was really good, and now I'm mediocre. So I was like, sweet.
We do have storms going on, so if you might hear in the background, the careful listener might hear.
Or one of us
Easter
might get
eggs.
electrocuted.
or one of us might get electrocuted.
If you're playing your signed-in drinking game, every time you hear thunder in the background.
There you go. Also, I don't recommend playing a signed-in drinking game. But if you do, anytime I say awesome...
Yes.
Anytime Sean...
Each indie game I talk about.
Each indie game that Craig talks about, each time Sean can't remember to say cutscene.
Yes.
Is that it?
I didn't play any games with cutscenes. Just for that fact.
Email us if you have any ideas of other things you could do for the signed-in drinking game. That would be great. Because you're probably more aware of it than we are. Otherwise, we would have changed our behavior by now. Probably. Christ, how about we talk about some games?
Okay, sure.
I'll start, since you guys always accuse me of just piggybacking on what you guys got. So I've got L.A. Noire, obviously, which I'm going to talk about as much as you wanted me to stop. And I've got some... I took a look at the new Pinball FX table, the Fantastic Four table,
right.
which I was very happy to see.
Excellent.
And a quick look at the First Templar that came out in the last couple of weeks, and some indie games, I think. So that's it for me.
I've got a smattering of indie games. I've played some. I'm going to touch with Pirates Lego. Got to play some of that, and so I got indie games because I'm online now.
You're connected.
I'm connected, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
I think the PS3 did beat you though.
Well, that's fine with me.
It's all right.
That's all right. I heard some of the.
It's still half-assed broke.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm still
so
having
it's
problems,
all right.
and mine's working perfect.
So you're better than the PS3.
Yeah. So I got.
That's what we needed to confirm.
Yeah, so I'll talk about some Lego, some LA. I played some LA Noire, and maybe a little touch on some Brink, because we.
Oh yeah, we
passed
need to
on
talk about that.
So
Yeah.
Don't get your hopes up, folks.
You shouldn't.
Well, I've got a whole slew of indie games to talk about this week, and with the highlights being PaperCraft and Echoes Plus. And then in XBLA, I want to touch back on Gatling Gears and Outland because I had a chance, thankfully, to play some co-op in both of those games.
Nice.
Talk a little bit about that angle. And then tried out the demo for D&D, Dungeons & Dragons Daggerdale, XBLA as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we tried that.
Yep.
No?
I had to piggyback again. Yep.
We totally turned into. Yep.
That's good. Yep.
That's the way the rest of the show is going to go, folks.
Yep.
All right. How about some indie games? Let's jump in.
Sounds good. All right. I've got some quick ones here at the beginning. I've got one called Sky Ninja War from Winglay, which sells for 240 points.
I'm glad you played that because I saw it today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn it, that looks awesome. It's
a great name.
It looks like Scribblenauts.
It's pretty cool. I mean, the art style is very reminiscent of games like Scribblenauts. And it's basically a side-scrolling aerial shooter. But instead of being a plane, you're a ninja who's flying around with this little spinning pinwheel on his front or whatever. Nice. And then there are other ninjas that are flying on kites or have jetpacks. And so you can swing your sword with the A button and you can shoot like shuriken or later some dagger things and some bombs using the, I think, X button, X or B. No, it's X. And then the B button will flip you back and forth so that you can face different directions. And yeah, and so you just side scroll and you fight, and it's got an adorable art style to it, and interesting bosses. The demo is quite cool actually, because they allow you to play level 1 or the first part of level 1 or something like that, and you can then, if you want, from the menu, you can choose to fight the level 1 boss and get a sampling of that.
Nice.
And that thing is hard.
Nice.
You got to find like a weak point for it, and then just attack it. But they have like a cannon that shoots out ninjas and all sorts of crazy stuff going on. And then you can also jump to the beginning of level 3, which also lets you try out some of the other things that you can throw, the bombs and the daggers that I was talking about. And yeah, it's 240 points, really well produced, and I don't have much else to say about it. It's pretty standard for a side-scrolling shooter, but it's a very nice one.
Cool.
So.
I want to look at it. I saw a couple of the screenshots, and I was like, I love how that looks.
Yeah.
So I was going to say that. I hope somebody had that to talk
pretty adorable,
about.
yeah.
But you led the show with it and made me happy.
Booyah. Next, I have Mr. Gravity from Angry Newton Productions. Sells for 80 points. And this is a bit of a puzzler game, and so it's got a neon art style, and you're a little smiley face Mr. Gravity, and you're trying to get to Mrs. Gravity, who's at the end of a maze, and there are gems along the way, but then there are also things that you can be killed by all along the way of the maze. And the way to... It's a little bit like Lazy Raiders.
True.
In terms of... You don't actually control the person, you control the environment. And
Nice.
so the way it works is that using either the joystick or the D-pad or the buttons on the side, you can change the direction of gravity, to go up or down or left or right. And so you have to use that to sort of balance Mr. Gravity and guide him to collect the gems. And one thing that's really nice is that each stage has different challenges. There's like a time challenge, a gem challenge, and a death challenge, and each one has 3 settings and different requirements for getting the three different levels. And if you get all 9 in that world, then you also get a 10th gem or a 10th star or whatever.
Okay.
And so it's got that extra challenge so you can come back and replay them. And what's nice is that you don't have to do everything all together. So on your first go, maybe you're just trying to get through the maze or try to get through without dying or something like that. And then, you don't have to worry about trying to do a speed run and grabbing all the gems simultaneously. And so it's a really neat little puzzle game. I can't remember the music, but I remember being impressed by it all around. So that one's 80 points if you're looking for something puzzly. Next up, I have Bumblepig from Kindling, which is also 80 points. And this has cutout paper sort of style to it. And I don't know why the bumblebee is also a pig. But it is, and it's kind of adorable. And
Bumblepig.
And if you look at this...
It's an abomination in the eyes of God.
It is.
Did they used to have cartoons where they took animals and mixed them together? And
Wuzzles?
Wuzzles, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't there a Bumble?
I'm your go-to
There was a
Wuzzle guy.
Bumble Bear, I think.
No, Bumblefint. It was an elephant bumblebee, wasn't it?
Oh, maybe it was. Anyway.
I had
Bumblefint.
the seahorse.
Yeah.
The moose. Moosel. He was a moose and a seal. Not a seahorse. He was a moose and a seal.
You had
And that, when I say
I
I don't mean
Wuzzles.
had. I mean I watch the show.
I'm with you there.
I
Anyway.
fucking outed myself hardcore. I may have had a stuffed moosel, okay?
But it would be sweet. I mean,
It was a gift
It was a seal moose
from my dying
I mean, that's
grandmother.
cool.
Bumbleion.
Bumbleion.
There it is,
Because he was
Bumbleion.
kind of
That's
the
what my
leader
sister
character.
had. My sister had Bumbleion.
Yeah, and it was, Pigglefint.
This is terrible.
All right, never mind.
Anyway, so if you
awesome.
take a look at Bumblepig, you might just dismiss it as sort of a kid's game, but actually there's quite a bit of fun and challenge to it if you want to try it out. Basically, it's... I guess I would categorize it as a puzzle game. It's hard. It's a hard game to categorize. Basically, Bumblepig's job is to pollinate flowers, and as you pollinate flowers, you earn money, and you can use that money to buy hats for
Naturally.
Bumblepig.
As you would expect the progression to be.
Exactly. And so in each level, it's a top-down vertical scrolling shooter, and you'll fly by. You'll see some flowers that will have sort of a growth coming out of it with
that makes me
a pollen bud.
Okay.
So a pollen bud, and so you can pick it up, and bumblepig can carry two different kinds of pollens on his feet, and so then you use the triggers, the left and right triggers, to shake each pollen thing, and this is important because
this is very high concept.
I know. you look at it first, you might dismiss it, but it's really worth checking out because it's quite incredible. Yeah. And so then, and it's important that you know which trigger has which color, because you have different color pollen, you have different color flowers, and so if you use yellow on a yellow flower, then it blooms extra yellow petals and spits out a coin. But if you use blue pollen on a yellow flower, then it grows extra green petals. And the color thing is important simply because you have sort of a combo meter at the bottom, and as that combo meter increases, then the amount of money that the flowers spit out increases. And each level has different, first, second, third place ribbons that you can go for the amount of money. And so one thing that helps the meter progress is if you keep pollinating flowers with the same color, and they tell you all this in the tutorial. Okay. And they actually suggest that what you try to do is sort of cross pollinate. So if you have a blue pollen and a yellow pollen, then you're probably going to have blue and yellow flowers. But it would be good to pollinate the yellow flowers with blue to get green petals, and then pollinate the blue with yellow to get green petals, because then that keeps growing the green petal meter or whatever. Otherwise it would keep resetting whenever you went from yellow to blue to yellow to blue. And then there are bugs that fly at you, and they try to steal a little bit of your money, and there are frogs and things like that. And it starts to speed up as you go along, and if you get the meter all the way full, then you don't have to care what color it is. You're just throwing pollen out, and they're throwing out 25-cent coins, and it gets quite frenetic, and I really like a lot about it. And then I just discovered, when going back to it, that when you're in the menu area, if you press Y, it switches from day to night. And so with night, you can't really see colors. It's all kind of black and white, except there's a little bit of an aura around bumblepig. So when you're flying over it, you can tell what it is. And the level is exactly the same as it is in daytime. So you could also just kind of train yourself to where flowers are and what color they are. And then there are these damn fireflies that come at you. They also light things up, but if they hit you, they knock all the pollen off your feet, which sucks. But it's a surprisingly fun game.
Sounds cool.
Well, I say surprisingly because again, I think people would dismiss it just by looking at it and hearing the concept. But
non-Wuzzle fans,
exactly, the Philistines.
Butterfint.
You're just making stuff up.
Oh,
now.
Butterfly and an elephant.
Oh, yes, it was.
Yeah,
it was.
Because it was I'm sorry. I was listening the whole time. I want you guys to know that just wasn't what I was thinking the whole time.
When we're done with this show, we can do our Wuzzlecast.
We're gonna go to the Wikipedia site.
No, Wuzzlecast.
Wuzzlecast
is our new bi-weekly.
Yes.
Bi-monthly. Whatever. Bi-weekly, twice a week.
Bi-weekly.
Yeah, there you go.
That's got to be twice a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, Bumblepig. Check it out. I'll do one more before letting you guys
I didn't know
speak.
Wuzzles were going to come up today.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of this show. I never know. You don't wake up and go, I'm going to talk about Wuzzles today.
I did.
He had this plan. It's in his notes if you look really closely. I'll talk about one more here before I let you guys talk. Battle for Venga Islands. They don't have sort of a studio name or anything like that, so I couldn't find any of that information. But it was 80 points, and it's at its heart is a twin stick shooter. You're a wizard. And you have 4 different spells that you can switch to using the shoulder buttons and the triggers. And you're being attacked by a variety of different monsters and whatever. And your goal in each area is, so it's basically a twin stick shooter, but it's also sort of like Risk in terms of you're capturing lands. And so there are 2 opposing factions. And your job is to sort of capture more land for your faction, and different areas have different difficulty settings. And so you choose an area, you go and you have this huge map, and then you choose an area, it zooms in, and then you choose specifically one part of the grid, and then you go into the twin stick shooter mode, and it has up to 4-player co-op. I'm thinking I don't know if it's local or online. I'll have to double check that, but and so your idea is to defeat all the monsters in that area, and then you win that area. But one of the neat aspects of it is that if you have the purchase version and it has online connectivity and you have a gold account, well, I guess you would have to have a gold account to purchase it. Anyway, if you have the online connectivity, then apparently what other people are doing in playing the game is going to affect the nature of the land.
Oh, really?
So they can be capturing things while you're not playing, and then when you come back, everything can look completely different.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so so I thought that was a really neat aspect to it.
Yeah.
I found it very difficult to play, but as I tried more and more, it got a little easier. There's no tutorial is the problem, and you have 4 different spells, like an ice spell and fireballs and shooting rocks and lightning bolts. And it took me a while to really figure out that there are different. Well, first it took me a while to figure out that I had different spells. I was just throwing fireballs. I'm like, what the hell? And then I pressed one of the buttons, and I'm like, oh, I have something else. And you really have to kind of learn how to switch between those and use them well. Like if you're getting overwhelmed, switch to the ice spell and blast everybody because it slows them down and you can get away. The earth spell continues shooting. It's weaker, but it continues shooting through things, so you can shoot a whole line of enemies essentially.
Nice.
So the fireball explodes. I think the lightning might be the most powerful, but it's a short range sort of deal. Anyway, so it's pretty cool, and I really like that concept of battling to control the land and it changing while you're not playing and all of that. So 80 points, worth checking out.
Cool.
It wouldn't be me if I didn't have Hangman 360. I had to give that a shot. Yeah, my Xbox is working. I can play disc games. I understand all that, but I do like me some Hangman, and this was a good one. 80 points. It's from Angel Z, and it is Hangman. It's got like 30 some categories, which I thought was it's huge, and you can only play the animals in the demo, the trial. And I didn't get any repeaters when I played it a couple different times, which I thought was really cool about it. It's chat pad enabled, so you can just use the chat pad, which I thought was really handy. Change backgrounds. Music was lacking.
Change backgrounds.
The music was lacking, but put your own soundtrack.
So you can hang him on a beach.
Huh?
So you can hang him on a beach.
Essentially, you
hang him on a street corner.
No, because the hangman is always on a piece of paper, it being drawn by a pencil, and then the background is just the background. So you can have it be like some serene ocean.
That's what I said. You can hang him on a beach.
Yeah, but he's always hanging on a piece of paper.
What happens when he dies?
He just gets hung. I haven't really lost yet. I should have done that.
Should have thrown a match.
Yeah, but I think this one I like it. I think it was good. You should check it out.
For a Hangman game.
Hey. And there's like 30 some categories. It was huge.
Have you ever looked at Wheel of Fortune?
I've played
That's like Hangman, but you get money.
Yeah, but then you got to spin a wheel, and then you have the choice of getting bankrupt. See, I just rather just win.
And you can't do that sitting on a beach.
I got hippopotamus with 3 guesses, not 3 guesses, but
Nice.
I missed they put the line on the bottom, and that was it. I was ruling.
Well, I'll have to take a look at it.
You guys should.
No,
jerks.
I'm not. Why we jerk?
Does it have a wuzzle category?
No.
We could use that.
Let's move on to the next indie game.
I played Akane. I'll try to.
Akane
I'll try to do this.
Kunoichi?
I assume this is all Japanese. But Akane the Kunoichi.
I don't even think I checked this out
Kunoichi?
or saw it.
Yeah, and it comes from Haruniko.
Haruniko. Yes.
It is 80 points. And it is a platformer.
Yeah.
In the style, I would say probably about 16-bit because it's sprites you're dealing with these figures, and it's really awesome looking. And I enjoy it quite a bit. It made me feel like those old school NES days of those platformers where you don't have the story. The story is all told to you just with the actions that's going on. You play a character, which I'm assuming is Akane.
Akane, yeah.
And she's in love with her. Leader, her samurai leader guy, her master, whoever he is, and he gets captured. So she's going to rescue him, and you got to fight these other ninjas.
It's a total role reversal.
You're basically
like Double
just
Dragon, but different.
You're rescuing the dude.
You're
the samurai master.
Yeah.
And so you're jumping around
Must not be much of a master.
these platformer.
He did give up easily.
He did get knocked out though, didn't he?
A little bit.
Knocked the fuck out.
He did.
Whoa.
I don't know if that happened. But, so you're just doing the platforming action, jumping around. You throw your little daggers.
Yeah.
And you can climb onto walls, which
you can slide down them, you can grip them, but you can't climb up them.
Well, you can, but you can jump back and forth.
Yeah,
because there's a couple areas that you have to do the wall jump back and forth. And I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
You have power-ups you can use. You have special attacks that you can do.
Yeah.
And you collect these scrolls that are in the game. And each scroll you have, you can do your special attack once. And there's 3 different attacks you can choose from. And you choose them with the bumper buttons. They're at the bottom left hand of the screen. And so there's one that, when you activate it, it basically makes all these daggers go out in a circle motion from you, and they all just shoot out. There's one that rains them down from the top, and there's one that just sends like 100 of them like straight forward from you.
Yeah.
And so I did them just to play around with them, and they were awesome because you just unleash all these daggers, and it's like in this cute style, so it was really well done. Like when they just all fly out of you.
It like centers on her, and she like does a motion, and then they just shoot out of her.
Exactly.
It's really
great.
Like the cover alone made me not want to get this game.
Maybe that's why I passed by it.
It has like that anime, because it wasn't until I saw the screenshots that I was like, oh, I really want to take a look at it, because the cover didn't sell me. It was a very like modern anime looking style, like lady on the front, and I was like, oh no.
You're like, it's another chick game.
Yeah. One of those boobs all over the place. And it's not the case, because it's all like this 16-bit sprite looking stuff, which is awesome. So I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, I bought it. I really enjoyed it. Like they have trophies throughout it. So like in-game achievements, but trophies. Like the first one was, if you watch that whole beginning scene where the guy gets kidnapped, you get a little check mark like, thanks for watching. And a lot of neat things in it. And you also pick up like these geisha robes.
Oh yeah, those were hidden.
And those,
out there
they're part of the map. It's almost like a kind of like a puzzler type game in that sense, where you can pick it and go back and replay to try to get the other.
Because you got to find all the collectibles in it.
Yeah, and there's some other different routes that it's not different routes, but like it makes you have to go down and
risk reward stuff. The hidden stuff's down here. You got to go down and not die in the pit.
And then like all of a sudden ninjas just show up. I mean, the graphics were fantastic.
That was cool, because there was one area that I went by, and I went the top route first time.
Yeah.
And the next time I went down the bottom route thing, and when you go into this certain area, if you step there, like the smoke goes off, and these 2 ninjas appear. They're like one behind you, one in front of you. So you got to fight them all. But it's triggered only if you go in that one, area, which was kind of neat.
One guy throws his hat. It's like he's like
job.
I mean,
and then I got to the one section where
very cool.
You jumped on the moving platform, and it was moving up.
Yeah.
It was like scrolling up, and you had to fight guys on the sides, and it was very old school platformer feeling, cool. that route as well.
I'm sorry, I missed this.
I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's relatively new.
Yeah.
In the last couple of days.
Okay. Because I downloaded, I think it was last night that I downloaded
Oh, okay.
it. And that was only because I don't even know why I even looked at it, because just the cover alone, but then the screenshots, I was like, that game looks awesome.
And 80 points, it seems like an awesome deal. I don't remember how many levels there were, but
12. I think it was like 3
areas.
3
areas per,
and there was 4 different levels or something like that. Yeah,
a number of levels. How about that?
Yeah.
So you go check it out.
But you can just shoot knives or have them rain down. Very cool. Very cool.
Well, later in the show, we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons Daggerdale. But if you are if you cannot afford the 1,200 points for Dungeons and Dragons Daggerdale, you might want to check out Avatar Legends, which is an Avatar-based RPG game, hack and slash. And it uses your avatar as well, like because I'm running around and I'm wearing the Xbox Labs lab coat, and you can read the thing on the back of my jacket.
Cool.
Nice. So if I was running around with my Dead Space, you could see my life bar on the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
And so
and I'll tell you, this is another one where the cover and the name made me not want to check it out, because I'm so biased to that stuff.
Well, that's understandable, but this one is actually really, really good.
Cool.
And one of the things that it boasts is, and why I mentioned Daggerdale, is because you can play online co-op with up to 3 other people, and running around, and it's got a humor to it, and the graphics are well done. I mean, it's a full 3D world.
Yeah.
The controls are maybe a little soft in terms of turning around and trying to hit enemies, but I actually didn't have any difficulty doing that. And then on top of being able to do online co-op with friends, you can also create your own levels and share them with people. So you can create your own RPG within it as well.
Nice.
Did I mention this is from Barker's Crest Studios for 240 points?
Awesome.
And so yeah, it's really well done. I can't remember the name of that other online. The big multiplayer RPG that I played a while back with avatars. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
But
I'm a failure.
This isn't like massive multiplayer like that one was, but this one has a lot of really neat features.
Cool.
And so really, really pretty cool. And I'm surprised Sean didn't check it out.
I am surprised I didn't eat it.
You loser.
I was
You
sidetracked
fail.
by Akane the Kunoichi.
That's understood. Okay.
Okay, the konnichiwa.
Next, we have UpBot Goes Up from Ishisoft. This is a puzzle game, and it's quite fantastic. It sells for 240 points, and I just got done playing Blocks That Matter. I got through the story there. I only have like one treasure left to find, and then do the bonus level that will unlock there, and then
awesome.
I've done everything in that game. That game is awesome. But anyway, I'm talking about UpBot Goes Up here, and it's a very intriguing concept. So you're looking down on basically kind of a room or a grid or something like that. You're looking mostly from the top down, and you have these different colored bots. They're the UpBots, and your goal is to match to get the UpBot to go into the same colored slot, and then once you have them all loaded in the slots, then they blast off. Anyway, but the catch is that UpBots can only go in one direction. Period. The direction that they're facing, whatever direction they're facing. And so you have there are 4 different kinds of UpBots. There's a yellow, green, red, and blue, and you might see where this is going. So you move them around in different patterns and different sequences, and some areas will have these portal things that you can go through one and it'll pop you out on another place. And so a lot of the challenge is trying to figure out how to construct or arrange the bots in a way so that they can get to their goal. And it is really a lot of fun for if you like puzzle games. If you don't like puzzle games, then it won't be fun, obviously. But I'm a big puzzle game fan, and I was having a ton of fun with it. When I get 240 points, I'm definitely going to be picking this one up. And you can play quite a bit in the demo. Actually, there's easy maps, medium maps, and hard maps. You can play the first 15 easy maps.
Wow,
which is, based on the percentage meter, is a good quarter of the game.
Okay.
But they're the least challenging of the maps.
Yeah.
Although some of them towards the end, I was like, how am I going to... Oh, okay, I see. It was that puzzler kind of like Blocks That Matter. That's why that came up. And yeah, is really good. Really good. Cool. And got great music, and it's got a great look to it. Just really fun. Cool. Check it out for more puzzle games. Next, we have PaperCraft.
Yeah.
Yes.
Round robin on PaperCraft from Vicinity Games, 80 points for there. So this is top-down.
What I wrote down,
scrolling shooter.
I have over the top, up, down, left, right, diagonal scroller.
Yes. Well, it's a scrolling shooter in the vein of like 1943 or something like that. But one of the neat things is that whatever direction you're going, then it's going to move. It's going to scroll in that direction.
Well, sometimes they do the up down, like if you're going to
it's your destination.
Yeah, and then so now it's up down. But then there's other ones where I like the fact that it mixes it up like that. It's not a constant, up down.
Yes.
The villains or enemies are coming from the top and you're going up. It's vice versa. I like some of the diagonal ones. That was the weird where you're going towards the left end of your screen and it just changes the gameplay up.
Yeah. Visually, it at least changes it. So this is that's a basic concept, but there's actually quite a bit more depth to this game.
This game is so deep.
Just that.
It's ridiculous.
It is, and but everything's done with sort of a PaperCraft, a paper style,
except for the cotton balls. Cotton ball clouds.
Cotton ball clouds. Well, it's a mix. It's a mixed media.
But I thought that was awesome.
Even the menus, I love.
I know. I love where it's looking at the desk.
Cutout letters and everything.
Yeah.
I love that.
I really like that too. So basically, you're a jet. You're a jet pilot, and you have an hour before the enemy arrives to your base, and you need that hour to save up $50,000 to buy a defense turret for your base to protect it from the enemies.
Yeah.
And so the way that you get money is you stage these raids on these refineries that are around your base, and so you fly there, and this is where the depth really starts to come in, and so it takes time to fly there, and so this is ticking away at the clock until the enemy arrives, and then you have to fight the enemies there, and then you get the cargo, and then it takes time to fly back to the base because you don't just immediately go back to the base. You actually have to fly back. And that becomes great later as you start to get more and more refineries, and you can upgrade your ship based on the money that you make from the cargo that you sell. And so, you have to increase your fuel amounts in order to reach out to new refineries. And so it became great because I would fly out to like the furthest refinery, and then on my way back I'd pick up more stuff at another refinery on my way back to the base. Yeah, to fill up my cargo space. Yeah, and so you can upgrade your fuel amount and your speed so that it takes less time to get to refineries, which is good because again your clock is ticking away.
Yeah.
And then also your cargo capacity.
Yep.
But then there are also a variety of other things that you can use these tech points for, and each refinery has one tech point, and you only get it once. But you can reset all of these upgrades, I should mention, as well.
So you can change up on the fly if you want to.
Exactly. And there are some offensive ones. My favorite is the Crazy 88, the missile launcher one. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's really good for finishing out refineries. But then there are also some other upgrades that you can make. And so there's a lot of tactical progress to it as well, because it's not like refineries have 1,000 cargo in it. They have to produce it.
Yes.
And so on your map in the briefing room, you can see them filling up. And then once they fill up to 100%, then clock starts for that place as the enemy's going to go there to take the take the stuff. And so this is where the tactics really start to come into play, and you have to plan out your routes and where you're going to go next and whether or not you have enough fuel to get there and back.
And meaning if you go to the same one while they're still trying to rebuild up, you're not going to get as much stuff.
You're going to get barely anything. Yeah. And so it's quite fantastic in the amount of stuff that's going on.
And what I loved in particular about it was being able to hone how your ship worked.
The tactical.
I forgot about that.
It was amazing.
The one good thing to come out of Iron Man.
The tactical triangle.
Yes.
So you hit the
very cool.
The right bumper or one of the bumpers. Left. And you get a triangle that you can move and relocate basically your options to strength, shield,
because each point is the epitome of that.
Yeah. So you can put basically this cursor in there and wherever you want it to be, and like you can funnel more power into your attack. So you move a little slower and you don't have as good a shield or defense, but you're now shooting double bullets or something or faster.
Yeah.
And or you can move it so you move really fast, but you aren't going to be able to shoot very good. And that was awesome. And I love being able to change that up.
And even
instantly.
And even within the levels, you're picking up, like some enemies will drop these glowing green, yellowish balls that are isotopes. And as you pick up isotopes, then the more you pick up, then you automatically start to upgrade. And so, you gain a little energy. You can go faster and whatever and shoot faster. But then you also gain like an extra missile that you can lock onto an enemy.
Yeah, being able to reroute that stuff was awesome.
Yes.
That was a very cool aspect of the game, and one that I didn't pay attention to. And then I was like, what is this? And why did I lose my shield? And I did,
Well, they throw a lot of information at you at the very beginning.
Yeah, and I did some research, and I had a lot of fun with it. The only problem I had was just you'd have to sit there and play the whole game through.
That was what I was going to mention too.
That's what I was wondering about.
There's no save feature.
It is a 1 to 4 player local
It is,
co-op,
and that would actually make it a lot
fantastic.
easier.
Yeah.
Also, I recommend using one of the bright colors for your ship because then you can see what you're doing a lot easier. Anyway, having no save feature is a little bit of a detriment for me. Because I've played it 3 times now and I still have yet to beat the game. Play all the way through.
Like one sitting.
Because one is just a time factor, and then also some of those refinery missions are really, really hard. And so, I'll die and then I'll have to start over again, and then I'll die and I'll have to start over again, and every once in a while I just want to take a break from it. I would like to come back to it, but
how long would it take? Do you know? I mean, like, what's the longest you played in like one sitting and still didn't get through it?
I didn't really time myself.
Okay.
You have that hour timer till the enemy arrives, but it's not like an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
And if you die, then I think it resets to the beginning.
And you can increase the time too, right? Like, isn't that something you can buy, like, to give yourself more time?
You can decrease the time that it takes to get to a place.
Yeah, that's it.
Is what it is. Yeah, which effectively does that. But I really would have liked that, but I still play it. I still have fun with it. And one other thing that caught me by surprise was in the upgrade station. And so, it's not the first game where I've been able to upgrade my ship or whatever. But and as expected, every time you buy an upgrade, then the next one is more expensive.
Right.
What I did not expect, however, was that every upgrade went up in price at the same time.
Oh, really?
So you really have to strategize how you want to purchase things because it's, you know, that next upgrade is going to be much more costly.
And I thought it was awesome that they made everything resettable at the same time.
Yes.
So then it's just like you can go, oh crap, and then immediately fix it or go, wait a minute, I need to, because that's exactly what I did. I spent more. I'm like, ooh, and I got money to buy. No, I don't. I was like,
I'm like, now I'll spend another 500.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still 1,000 too. Okay.
Awesome. But like, I found the game a little bit like really repetitive, but at the same time, I kept playing it. Like this game keeps me playing it.
It is, but it throws so. I mean, the enemies are randomized, and every once in a while, I make a trip out to a refinery. I'm like, holy shit, I can't stand. And I'm getting creamed, and then next time it'd be a lot easier.
Yeah, and then that's what kind of once I started kind of branching out to different ones, and then I'm like, but it just kept me playing and kept me playing. But
I also like how when you get to the end of the refinery and all the structures that are there, they make a little face.
Oh yeah,
if you pay attention.
I like all the paper, like that look is fantastic, especially like when you fly over water, it's like crinkled up like gift wrap, because it's like shiny. And then like I dug that, like what they shoot is like little like origami ninja stars, look like almost very cool.
And I also like in the description of it in the marketplace, you know, they reference action movies quite a bit, and the music for it is a great. I mean, it just sounds like it's from some big, you know, explosion, heavy 80s action movie, and
that's funny.
It really fits everything
very
really well.
Yeah, TV show.
Cool. It's $1.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I picked it up like right away. When I tried out the trial.
Cool.
And the last thing I have for this, no worries, folks, we're almost done with Indie, is Echoes Plus. And I will admit to this is a 1.5 year old game that I somehow had passed over.
All of us did.
All of us did.
Credits to the blog Weapons of Mass Deduction, which is a blog where the author is buying an indie game every day and then writing a review of it.
Nice.
And one of his special features is that he doesn't review like brand new games.
It's older stuff.
He tries to pick things that are not on the top 50 lists. And so that's why 1.5 years later I can find out about something like Echoes Plus and say, what the hell? Why did I miss this?
There you go.
It's from Binary Zoo Studios. It sells for 80 points. It's a twin-stick shooter, neon twin-stick shooter. I know, you know, you're like, well, oh, there's another one. But this is really worth it. And it's essentially an update of Asteroids.
Yeah, totally.
You know, so you're flying around and you shoot at the asteroids. They break into smaller asteroids. But it is so much more than that. And so there aren't any actual enemies that are going to shoot at you. But there are the closest thing are the black holes that just constantly spit out little asteroids, but those go in random directions. And then the sun, which returns fire to you. Like if you shoot it, then it blasts stuff out in the same direction. But there are lots of very aggressive enemies, like the asteroid belts, which are
the red ones.
Yeah,
the
snake that chases you. Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm gonna stand my ground. That doesn't work.
Or if you shoot planets, they have moons, and if you don't blast the moons are gonna come straight at you after you destroy the planet. And it gets pretty hectic, and it's got a great soundtrack to it as well.
Yeah, I dug the soundtrack a lot.
So then, in addition to the main mode, which is just pandemonium, there are actually other modes. There's like a time trial mode where you have 3 minutes. You can't die in that mode, but every time you get hit, you lose points, and so your goal is to try and get the highest score total possible. And I don't think it drops weapon upgrades, but your weapon automatically upgrades over time.
I didn't get to play any of the other. I played Echoes in Classic. The only reason I'm saying because I got to see with the description of each of them. And I was like, that's too hard for me. On to the next one.
Too hard for me.
Oh, come on!
It's 3 minutes.
You can't die.
I'm just messing with you guys.
And then there's survival, which is basically the opposite, where you don't really care about score because one hit and you're dead.
You're just staying alive.
And it's over. So you're trying to stay alive as long as possible. Then there's also like asteroid belts where all you do, it's a smaller area and all you do is face asteroid belts with increasing speed and length and numbers.
Those things are a mess.
Then there's meteors.
Meteor shower.
Meteor shower. Yeah. Which is So the meteors come in a wave, and they'll come from one direction, and then it just keeps increasing the how fast they're coming at you, and it's a lot of fun. Then there's classic mode, which is basically the original Asteroids, complete with scrolling through the sides and popping out the other side. And,
and the spaceship, the little saucers that fly through.
And your aiming and propulsion are the same thing.
One hit and you're done.
Yeah, but you have extra lives in that one.
That's true.
I feel like I'm missing something else. Anyway, the modes are pretty sweet, and then the game has its own in-game achievements, and which are called Zoots.
Awesome.
And they pop up when you do it, and it keeps track. Actually, because each mode has its own Zoots to it, and when you're playing a mode, you can just press start and go to the Zoot challenges, and then it'll show you the ones for that mode, and it'll also show you how well what you've done so far as you're playing.
Wow.
Which is great, because like for the time trial, there's one like you only got hit less than 10 times, which is hard. And so I'll, after I get hit, I'm like, did I get hit once or twice? And so I'll go check in the Zoot thing, and that's really cool. And then each difficulty setting that you do, it's basically a separate Zoot.
Nice.
But they're stacked, so if you do it like on the hardest, for example, then you basically have all of them.
Okay, good.
And that's important because if you get 50% of the Zoots accomplished, then it unlocks another game within the game called Crack.
Insane.
Wow.
That's insane.
At least I know that's true of the PC version, and I'm guessing that's what's true here as well. Okay. But because there's nothing in the game that actually says that. I just went to their website and was checking out some of the other things that they've done. But one other feature that I really liked about it is, so when you're playing most of the modes, you have a health percentage.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, so that's listed up in the top left corner, but then there's a translucent ring around your ship. And it's very unintrusive for what you're doing, because I often forgot it was there. And then I'm like, oh yeah, the ring. And the ring...
Actually, it helped me because I was not trying to get hit by my ring.
Right.
So then it's like, I was even more
running
safe.
away from it.
Well, no, I mean, not by hit by that, but I was like...
you were trying to keep
I was avoiding
out
things, my whole radius of my ring, and I was like, well, I had a lot more room to move around in there.
But the ring is nice because it is gauged basically for your health. And as you lose health, it shrinks down and turns more and more red, and as you gain health back up, then it increases again. It's a really fantastic game. If you like twin stick shooters, you should not pass up Echoes Plus.
Yeah, that's it. I for 80 points... Duh.
Ridiculous.
It's a steal. It was, and like you said, the music's good, the graphics were good. I've played 2 modes and haven't even top of the iceberg there.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you like the insanity of things like Score Rush. I have a nice Score Rush vibe for this, probably because of the combination of great gameplay and awesome music in there. But
and stuff flying at you, and you're like, "Stop it!" And that I like that whole percentage life bar thing. I thought that was a really neat aspect. At first, I was like, "How do I know if I'm?" Because I kept getting hit. I'm like, "How?" And then I saw the percentage, and then the ring kicked in because as I was getting hit, it got smaller.
And smaller.
I'm like, "Oh!" And then when you explode, it's even better.
It is.
And shit just goes crazy.
Oh, it's like
you can
controllers.
You can turn off some of the screen flashes and the screen shakes and whatever, but for me, that's half the enjoyment with shit blowing up everywhere.
Especially when those big asteroids come in the mix and they put off a little like explosion when they blow up, which is really cool too. It's very neat, very sharp.
Yeah. Sorry I missed it the first time.
Yeah,
Hey, that's what we're here.
This is a year and a half I could have been playing Echoes Plus.
That's right. You didn't.
I feel a loss.
Well, too bad it can't go on the best of at the end of the year.
That's right. It can't even get close. The best game we missed.
New category.
But I am done talking about indie games.
Me too.
Last.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
How about some XBLA?
XBLA, yeah. Let me touch on the co-op stuff that I wanted to first. I got a chance to play some Outland co-op, which is really fantastic. The regular campaign part is exactly the same as the other campaign, and so that's actually pretty fun. I was playing with somebody who hadn't played it at all yet, and so I was able to help him out a little bit, and it makes fighting some of the bigger enemies a little bit easier. We didn't quite get to the boss at the first stage, I don't think. No, we didn't. But that would have. I'm anticipating that's going to be a lot easier to handle with 2 guys on it. And then there are the challenge rooms, and the challenge rooms really take advantage of the fact that there are 2 people, and you both have your color changing ability, your light changing ability, and so you have to take separate paths in order to really kind of allow each other to get to the end.
Nice.
And then
that's cool.
Yeah, and in each area you both have to reach the end. But if somebody dies, you can run over to them and pull a left trigger or something like that, and you can revive them.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to playing some more. Another thing that I'm looking forward to playing some more in general and in co-op is Gatling Gears.
Yeah.
Me too.
I want to buy this game. I still haven't bought it.
Me too.
And I got
either.
I got through the entire thing in regular normal mode with Lunchbox 700. Spicoli driver on our forums. And you hater.
I am.
It was.
He knows.
It's
He
really
appreciates
great.
it.
And at first, before I started playing it, I'm like, oh, it's going to make this so easy. It might actually make it a little more dull. Actually, no. Because when you're playing single player, you know where everyone's going to be shooting because they're going to be aiming at you. But in co-op, they're shooting in 2 different directions, and so you're like, I'm going to run away into this hail of bullets. Apparently, so it's still got the challenge of the bullet hell and dodging everything, but the explosions going off, and it's just such a spectacular game. And he helped me actually complete the game because I couldn't get through that last
Very
level.
cool.
And we got to those endpoints where we're both like, holy shit, this is awesome. It's such a spectacular game, and I'm looking forward to playing some more. We're going to try getting through on hard.
Yikes.
Yeah, it is tough. It is really, really tough.
I'm going to think about buying it again.
Good. You should.
I want to. Time.
I want to too.
Time.
Tutu. I want to wear
Too
a
much
tutu.
stuff going on. I want to wear a tutu.
If it had it had Avatar Awards, I'd probably buy it in a heartbeat.
Oh my God.
To be honest,
You didn't buy Aqua.
I know I didn't.
That
And
had
I hate
Avatar
myself for
Awards.
it.
We're talking about. We were
I
talking
got
about
my
that before,
steampunk pirate outfit.
know.
before
I
the
know.
show. Where have the Avatar awards gone? Because the last handful
Sounds
of
like a country song.
XBLA,
I won them all.
the XBLA, and disc releases.
Sean made him broke.
Yeah, they're like, we got to stop this.
I know, right? I think they just start
I
selling
think
them all.
it was because of Unbound Saga. That's the way. Because they were like, they only bought it for the avatars.
But that's good. That should make them want to put it in.
Exactly. They could put a crap game out, and I'll probably buy it.
They need to get back on it. I don't know why people are slacking on those.
But
It is their
Gatling
responsibility.
Gears, I
It
totally.
is their responsibility. They owe it.
Because that'd be sweet to have a little Gatling Gears, like little walker
That
going
would be
around
really
you.
neat, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm owed.
I
haven't even bought their game yet, but they owe me, apparently.
That's their fault.
I couldn't even be bothered to spend the $15 for their awesome game.
It's really good.
It looks
It's
awesome,
really
and
worth the $15.
I know.
I've played it so much.
playing through the trial on it was fantastic. I just need to buy it and
Yeah.
just be done with it. Just do it.
How about some Dungeons and Dragons Daggerdale?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we all tried the demo.
We all
for
tried
it.
out the demo.
Yeah.
And of course, the early
short.
reports were, the demo doesn't go all that in depth. You get through kind of the first level, I guess.
If that,
Yeah.
I guess you do save some dwarves. That's pretty cool.
One thing, it was just a nitpicky sort of thing, but it was a little bit annoying, was when you're saving the dwarves and you're beating up the goblins, then you immediately teleport over to the dwarf to talk to them.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could have walked that 20 feet.
Well, and then I'm like, I was trying to
pick,
I was picking up stuff, and I was like, well, where did I go?
Yeah, I thought that was unnecessary.
Because the camera changes, and then you're like, so then I walk down the same path I just came from, and I'm like, all this stuff looks familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the map, Sean. Where's my dungeon master now?
That's right.
Not telling me, he's like, you need to go back.
You teleported 25 feet this way.
One thing that I wish they had taught you more about the abilities. So this being D&D,
Yes.
you get to choose specific abilities for your character that allow you to kind of craft them in a special way. But they didn't tell you how to do it.
Yeah, I know. I've noticed that too, where I didn't know how to do because I picked whatever the ranger was,
Yeah.
with
I think
the
that's
bow and arrow.
Yeah.
The rogue.
Yeah, that was it. And so I picked a couple of the attacks with my arrows, but they
Right.
didn't explain to me ever to pull my
the
left
trigger and then bring
and
up a new
I can't
menu.
remember where I even finally saw it.
Probably
It was-
in the controls or something.
something like that, and I was like, "Oh, well, that's how I do it."
Yeah,
there I go.
Same here. Yeah.
Well, like the tutorial while you're fighting people.
I'm not a fan of that.
And the fact that I have a pretty good sized TV. At least I believe I do.
Yeah.
But the script on it was small in my opinion.
You should play Star Raiders. then you'll feel just fine with Daggerdale.
No, it was pretty small,
or maybe get my glasses fixed.
You should do that still, but
Probably.
but it was kind of small.
Yeah.
And but then I ended up finally I'm like skipping over it, but then I'm like, oh, I should have, because like, you know, move left
skipping
right to
over it.
move. So I'm like, yeah, so I'm just all of a sudden button smashing my skip because all see these goblins running at me, and I'm like, that might have been something I needed back there. Crap. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Graphics wise, I liked it.
yeah, I mean, it was okay.
I had issues. I thought the screen tearing was terrible.
Oh, really?
I
Like,
didn't experience much
Yeah,
of
I
that.
didn't either.
I thought it was the worst of any game I've ever played.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And I played some bad ones with screen tearing. So and again, you know, I've heard you were talking about a minute ago that, you know, some of the feedback has been it's pretty glitchy.
It's pretty glitchy.
There's a lot of bugs in it,
Although they seem to be kind of inconsistent.
which is good, I guess. But then
Yeah.
that's also problematic,
Yeah,
I guess,
yeah,
sometimes too.
yeah.
Well, it might be.
Yeah.
It might not be.
We have a fair number of people on our forums who are very excited about the game and picked it up, and they've had a chance to play with the co-op because you can get up to 4-player co-op, and word is from them that is really where the bread and butter, the meat and potatoes is of the game, and just being able to play as a party and you know, staying as a team and staying together and not really running off on your own, because that actually was kind of the watchword for, because this is based on 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons. There were, you know, don't split the party. So I like that that's in there as well.
Yeah.
And from the sound of things, they were willing to overlook glitches just because they were having a lot of fun with each other. So,
And I'm not
What, having fun with them?
able to look over glitches because
yeah.
I'm having fun with people. I just get irritated if it's not operating correctly. I mean, I had this in top of the screen tearing stuff. I mean, I was walking through objects,
really?
and they weren't stopping me. I killed a bunch of guys, and there were some that were frozen, still standing there.
Oh,
even
really?
Though I killed everybody, and I would just walk through the guy, and so there was a guy just standing there, and I'm like, well, this is bad. If it's my first attempt to play through, and I'm having all these issues,
that's rough.
That's not good, especially on a $15 title for me. Like that needs to be a little more cleaned up, and maybe that is stuff they can fix with a patch, but you're putting your faith into them fixing it after the fact, and I don't know if I want to reward that kind of behavior either.
Yeah,
Do you know
should
what I
play
mean?
Avatar Legends instead.
I'm going to give that a try.
Yeah.
I'm going to now. So I wasn't too, but again, I don't have a huge concern for Dungeons and Dragons either.
Right.
So I mean, I don't have a lot of want for that anyway.
Sure.
In my opinion.
Sure.
So I don't know. It seemed like a mixed bag, and it seems like a lot of the negative feedback that I'm hearing from folks on it is technical stuff,
Right.
which is really not too opinion based. I mean, that's either happening or it isn't.
No,
you
true.
know, so
Yeah.
it's just however, like you said, if you're willing to put up with the stuff to have that kind of gameplay with other people.
And I've done that before for games.
Yeah.
I always like that you can customize characters too. So that's a nice touch,
Yeah.
but not enough to keep.
You couldn't like customize. You couldn't like change the look of your
the look,
character, though, could you?
I don't think so.
Well,
at the
when
moment.
you game equipment, it puts
Yeah.
it on them, because I got a helmet
Okay.
Yeah,
on my warrior guy.
but I always like to have cool names.
Yeah.
I think they're cool.
Awesome. Is that it for XBLA?
Well, I played some.
I
I,
didn't
guess
play the
this
Sega
fits
Rally.
in, but some. You did?
I didn't.
Oh, you did. Okay. What? Anything else you didn't play? We could do a show.
I don't think there was anything.
Could we do a
else.
follow-up show of what we didn't do?
Oh, you.
Special podcast?
Pinball FX2 released a new
yes,
table.
yes.
Yes.
Fantastic Four, their next
Bought
Marvel
that.
table. And how do you feel about it?
I love it.
Do you?
I thought they did a really good job with it. I love the size of the table. It reminds me a little bit of a mixture between like the Street Fighter table, how the closeness of it,
Yeah.
but with the ramps. Some of the ramps got annoying at times for me because I'm just bouncing off of them.
Really?
Well, just because I'd hit them at the wrong, it's not like the Iron Man table.
There you go.
Where they're constantly,
Right, yeah.
The balls are flying at my face. But
You make your own
I
jokes.
know that was just for me. But other than that, I really liked the look of the table, the feel, and like getting the guys going. Like I love, I love like the I call it the Sabretooth. It's like Wolverine Sabretooth, but it's the Thing instead. And he's awesome. Like the movement is very cool. He like picks up the ball and just chucks it.
Yeah.
Very cool, like the Johnny Storm and getting the fireball going. I thought that was cool. There's some really neat aspects to that.
They're all four on the table,
Yeah.
and you can activate like by spelling out their names, by doing whatever you require to spell out their names. They have their own little modes that they activate, and then also the Baxter buildings in the back which is the main mission part of the table, which you put the ball into the Baxter building, and then it activates this other thing, this ball hold that when you get it in there, you choose which mission you want to do. And so every character has a mission, and then you do their thing. And so like things is like fighting these Doom bots that show up, and they all land on the table, and he like punches them out if you like hit them with the ball. And Mr. Fantastic, he like stretches his arm out, and he's got to catch the ball. And for Johnny Storm, you got to go around and heat up his get him to the Nova.
There's the fire.
It's
spinner,
really well done.
The fire spinner up in the left, which is I hate that because they always have a bumper right over there too. So then I'm always keeping my left bumper going, and then it bounces off of it. I'm just like
I find everything in the table really accessible.
Yeah, I do too.
And so I had that problem with Iron Man where some of those ramps are way too close. It is definitely a smaller feeling table for me. My favorite is still Spider-Man, and that table is like wide open comparatively. But I say that this is maybe even second. I do really like the Wolverine table still.
Yeah.
But this one, there's a lot of stuff going on, and everything seems attainable, and that's important to me because there's a number of tables that I've played on there which stuff seems near impossible, or like really difficult, and everything on here seems attainable because I don't have that much skill playing the game, but there are you can definitely learn like where to hit things, and I found that I could reach anywhere I needed to be, which is really awesome and important for me on those tables. And the sound was awesome. There's a lot of voice work. The only issues I did have with it, there were a couple of times that things got blocked. Or maybe it was just in Mr. Fantastic's mode, like his mission mode, because he stretches his arm out, and his glove that he's wearing is black. And so sometimes when he reaches out, it becomes invisible. You can't really see where it's at on the table, and you're supposed to aim towards it. So that became kind of a problem. But I've gotten better at looking for it, so that helps. And then there's this like one of the sound effect noise choices that they made was this like beeping noise that goes off every 30 seconds, and it drives me nuts. But other than that, I love it.
A lot of times with those tables is what I do is I turn them like that kind of stuff off. I play my own music. But I love this. I love the setup. The Galactus silhouette in the back. I mean, some of the touches, Silver Surfer on the side flying. I thought they did
the Galactus light up then.
Well,
I never got him out.
Yeah, but you like shoot one of the balls goes through his mouth, but or his face, or one of the two. But that was
hours of endless entertainment.
I didn't laugh about that one. I didn't even think of it as a joke. He eats planets.
I haven't seen Silver Surfer on there at all.
And I
play that thing with the hours.
It's on the right hand side. See, that's the thing with me is I look at if they look more like a real pinball table to me, that's going to win me over every time. And I think this one is a great mix of some of the other Marvel tables and like a real pinball table.
And you seeing like the Silver Surfer, is that why your score is what it is on my leaderboard?
No, I'm not good at pinball games. I'm like what 6th and 5th out of all my friends, and I have like 6 or 5 people playing.
Come on, get on it.
I am on it. I have fun with it. That's the best part about it is even if I'm not high on the leaderboards, I'm still having a good time with that game, and I thought it was awesome. I love the setup.
I destroyed on my friends list.
It was like
I'm number 1, yo.
That's what it's all about, right?
218 million or something like that.
I was saying the points for the table.
Oh no, I'm talking about my score.
Yeah, mine's not even. I think I broke 1 million.
Broke 1 million, Sean.
That's how
you can do
play.
better.
I could do better, but I don't strive to.
You should.
Why? I don't spend 45 minutes playing pinball, and I'm not going to.
You
should. That's ridiculous.
If you get awesome,
I need to go buy
goal.
5 new controllers after the end of it because my bumpers are going.
I will talk about this because my triggers are really squeaky right now. And my and I don't even know why. It must be from something else, but my joystick on one of mine is almost broke too.
Yeah,
stuck.
I'm getting bad thumb from that game. Because I use it and I'm like,
Oh, yeah, but 240 points.
Very, very
$3.
Cool. Yeah,
it's on par with the other Marvel tables.
I want them all.
And the Marvel tables have been my favorite, but I would even put this above Blade and Iron Man, which are kind of down for me on that first set. And I Blade's awesome. I know you like Blade. I don't mind Blade. It's just there's something weird about the table. I don't know. I think it's because it feels so small.
Yeah.
And this one feels small, but yet it's big. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's just really well done, and the balance is awesome, and I enjoy it quite a bit. And we gave out a couple of them last week.
That's right.
So too late now, suckers. If that's the first you're hearing about it, you lost. You didn't even try to win.
Very cool table.
Lost.
I just want more. I want more licensed products like that.
Well, there'll be more Marvel coming.
Oh man. More of them.
And I'm still praying for that.
Marvel Tokidoki table.
I'm still calling and praying for that Splosion or Twisted Pixel of some sort teaming up.
That would be the best.
They gave out they gave out prizes.
Ghostbusters.
Twisted Pixel donated a bunch of prizes for a Zen pinball or Zen Studios contest a couple months ago, and ever since then I'm like, that's a little weird. Maybe it's an XBLA like brothership partner thing.
That'd be awesome.
But there's a little bit of weirdness going on there. So I want Miss Explosion Man to come out, and then we're going to get a pinball table out of it.
You know, there's just going to be more arcade games like they did with Comic Jumper, and then you'll be able to play like Maw.
Yeah, and you can play the pinball game in there
from there.
That's what I'm talking about.
Word.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
I want a whole Twisted Pixel table.
That would be by
Explosion
itself
Man,
awesome.
Maw, Comic Jumper.
The Wrangler or whatever his name is.
Make that happen, everybody.
Gunstringer.
That's what I said.
If only just for me. Make that happen.
Gunstringer.
All right, should we disappoint everybody with Brink?
Yeah, it'll be really quick.
We said last time we weren't going to talk about it because we didn't get enough time to spend with
That's
it.
right. You promised you were going to talk.
And I
about
promise. So here's my promise being upheld of talking about it and informing you that I played no more.
As did I.
it. You guys reached the brink?
I had no...
I did, I guess.
I couldn't. I really couldn't.
You had no desire to go back to it?
None at all. And I did get back online and I really thought about maybe trying that out. But, I couldn't. I couldn't get myself into that game. I don't see the pull for it. I don't. There's some really cool mechanics to it.
You don't have the pull for it, is what you're saying.
I don't see it though either.
Well, it's not for you.
That whole op thing.
But to me, that's it. The fact that it's got to be
that's what it is.
all the time.
But that's the pull. There's some people that are into that.
Yeah. I need campaign.
Yeah.
Well, I need to have a
Team
game.
Fortress 2, which is a very similar game from all accounts that I've heard, is pretty much co-op.
Yeah,
only.
But that looks really cool when you play it single player too, and it's fun to play.
I will say this though too with that is that there was a much less barrier or a lower barrier of entry for me to get into Team Fortress than that felt like when I jumped into Brink.
Yep.
Like there was just something that was not clear at the outset for Brink for me, and so it was going to be a learning process to like get in and understand where everything's going, and I didn't have the urge to do it, and I knew that was what was needed. And so I probably can't give a formed opinion on it good enough. But other than the fact that it did not grab me in the amount of time that I needed it to.
Understood.
So I couldn't get back into it and try it again. And then that next week, LA Noire came out. And I was like, let's be realistic here. Am I going to give like a ton of time to Brink? No. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things about the game. I really liked some of the menus. The selection was neat.
I like the character design. I like the opening part.
Yeah, I dug a lot. I mean, I had really high hopes as the game was really progressing in the very beginning until I started that first mission.
Started playing,
and I was like, what? What's going on? But I love the kinetic movement. I love the fact that you can just pretty much vault over everything you're running at. Yeah. You don't have to worry about that aspect. That's awesome. There's a lot of things I like about the game, but then in the end, I couldn't take it. I just couldn't.
Yeah, there was a demo for this game like a year and a half ago or a year ago that was on Xbox. I played it, and it was all about vaulting over everything. And then there was a thing where you had to go to this wharf. It was like where they're living, like in those off the water there.
Yeah.
And you had to go up and like attack this housing area. And it was done as like a single player campaign. Like you were just moving forward with a group of people, but you were just attacking this area. And it felt so much different than what this game ended up being. So I don't know what happened. I mean, that was a long time ago. Yeah. And I don't know that I ever talked about it on the show. But I think it's while we've been doing the show that I took a look at that. Maybe I made it all up.
You might have.
I really don't remember
Fever
there being
dream.
a demo.
Yeah, you had a fever dream.
Was it maybe a San Diego demo?
No, it was on Xbox because I played it at my house. And I know there was an initial thing where you're on the island thing, like the central station that you would leave from, and that was about running around and jumping over things and vaulting, and it was like a tutorial or a demo on the vaulting and the movement in the game, and then there was a tutorial or a demo on the attack or the like actual gameplay part of it, where you were going up and shooting all these people and doing stuff, and you were basically running from cover to cover and slamming against like a wall and sliding into it and like kind of hiding and peeking around. It just felt a lot different than what this game ended up being that I played. So I don't know. It was weird.
So I really hope other games like use some of the stuff that came into Brink, but that's about it. It's just not for me.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not.
Right.
It's a first-person shooter co-op game.
Multiplayer.
It's not me.
Yeah.
It's just that.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking I wanted a cool campaign because most of these multiplayer big games have cool campaigns.
And what was more like you? Lego Pirates?
Lego Pirates. Lego Pirates was awesome.
Yeah. But you didn't even finish the first movie.
I didn't finish the first movie. Well, no, I had LA Noire on the shelf too, man. I had a lot of catching up to do once I got back online.
That would apply to me, but I played it a week earlier, so I don't need to hear it.
I hear whatever. The thing about it is I had a lot to check out. There's a lot of stuff I had to download Gatling Gears and play that myself instead of just playing Craig's. There's a lot of things I had to catch up on, and then I started playing Pirates and really enjoyed it. The whole switching on the fly between characters was really cool, but at the same time, a little like almost overwhelming at first.
I know, yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I can do all this stuff right now. I don't have to, and then that I did some backtracking in that one of those first, like when you were breaking not breaking them out, but recruiting all the other pirates. I ended up doing some backtracking. I'm like, oh, I didn't even have to do any of, I didn't have to do all that stuff because I had someone that could jump and do all that.
Yeah, right.
But
it's kind of unclear who does what. That's the problem I was having with it.
Once I got
they kind of fall into archetypes. Some of them are still hard, like finding the guns and stuff. That can be a little difficult. But some of like women are the ones who do the double jump.
That was easy, but there was times there's dudes that have because everybody has a sword, but a couple of them have shovels because you'll need them to dig.
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
So and then there's some that have like a hammer because they do maintenance stuff.
Right.
And so finding those dudes is like near impossible.
Yeah.
And at some levels, they give you those objects to pick up. So they don't even give you a guy that has like anything because you can just get them in the level.
That's why I think it might be easier just to go through it on free play, and because they give you the selection of things, and so
even going through those guys sometimes was hard to figure out. I was having a problem with it. It was because everybody looked the same too. Maybe that was the issue.
Yeah, sure.
Because they're all pirates.
But visually, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Just the motions, and I don't know, just seeing Captain Jack just walk and stuff. Was
that stuff was awesome, right?
I mean, it was just really fun to watch. That whole his compass is so like you guys were talking about it.
Yeah.
Until I actually played it, that thing is friggin' awesome.
It's a really neat little mini game. Essentially.
I thought that was fantastic, and it has that whole family circus like walkthrough type thing. Like you totally see what he gets to walk, and that was the best part. Is like I got so stuck, and I didn't know that was one of the things I had to do. Is like I thought I had to get this barrel over this at the very beginning. You're running to get to the ship or something.
Yeah,
and you got to get this barrel over to this other side.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know you had to like use Jack to like.
Find the spot to dig it out.
Yeah, find that thing to dig. And I'm like, what? There's a barrel over there. I know what I'm doing. But I really like that aspect. I just got stuck there for a while, and I almost gave up on it. But I really enjoyed it. I got to towards the end of the first movie, and yeah, I'm just going to hold that on my Xbox and then test it out later. Maybe even purchase it.
Good idea.
That one might blow Star Wars
and
out.
it is.
Hey, if you go over to Target, I think you can get a free $11 builder kit.
There you go.
For Legos.
And I like $11 builder kits.
Apparently they did
those are like the Star Wars ones.
I unlocked all the characters in the game and I was missing one, but apparently it was a code that you got from one of the Lego kits, so I just got the code online.
Okay.
Very cool.
And it was just it's a Jack that
isn't drunk.
He always the music always plays while you have him, and it's playing the track from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disney World, Disney World.
Yeah.
And so it's playing the entire track thing, like with the whole like Dead Men Tell No Tales thing at the beginning, and then into the part where they're at the party thing at the end and celebrating in town that they're raping and pillaging everybody.
Yeah.
And so that's playing, and then so everybody he encounters, they all start dancing.
I love the jigs.
So, because in the game you can pick up musical instruments too and play them. So you can play like the guitar and stuff, and then everybody dances and they stop attacking you. So if you're playing as that Jack, basically everybody runs up to you until they get to you, and then they start dancing. So nobody's fighting you ever. They get close enough, and then they can't attack you. But then you have to deal with that song playing non-stop. It was awesome until about the 12th minute that I heard it, and I was like, oh no.
When Jack found that guitar and busted that out in like one of the mess halls or whatever, and started doing like the total like Chuck Berry step when he was I thought it was fantastic.
That's
a lot of fun.
I think it's actually Marty McFly that started that. and then he gave the idea to Chuck Berry.
Yeah, because his brother called him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about
His
that.
cousin,
Yeah,
I think.
cousin. Larry.
I think it was Marion.
Marion Barry.
I don't think that's
That's Larry Barry.
all right. Anyway,
Wuzzles, Back to the Future. Check.
we got them all.
Lego.
Lego, we're all good. So yeah, I would recommend highly playing the rest of it because the game is awesome.
Yeah.
and there's a lot of awesome moments
And
in a couple in the other movies.
And unlike
I ruined the whole last movie
the
or the new movie by playing through it.
From what I hear, that's maybe the better option.
The better way to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I did really like the Lego version of the first movie.
Yeah.
Well, remember
there
I
was some
said that
added stuff. I was like, that makes more sense.
I'd never watched the third movie,
Yeah.
and so I found it on cable and I recorded it. I'm like, oh, I'll watch it now that I've played the game. And so I'm about halfway through it, and I had a lot more fun playing the Lego version. when you don't
Not
have
a surprise.
when you don't have to hear any of the stuff.
Yeah.
It's fun. You can run around and punch people.
Yeah, I might buy that one.
Yes, I recommend it.
But one I really want to buy is...
The First Templar?
Oh, yeah, I forget you're talking about that.
You want to buy that?
No, I don't.
I don't either.
Mouse Templar.
You know,
That would be cool.
I'll talk about it real quick. I haven't had a lot of time with it, but I don't really know that I need to kind of understand what's going to go on.
Yeah.
I guess I was under the impression it was going to be a little more RPG-ish, but it's not. And then that might be my own mistake of what I expected. It's very just hack and slash, straightforward, like storyline of them mixing in. They're doing a lot of historical fiction, kind of like a la Assassin's Creed, where they're working in some of the actual going for the Holy Grail, but they're working in some actual real locations that you're going to and doing this stuff.
Oh, good. You get to be a crusader.
Correct. A Templar. Except this would be like if you wanted like Assassin's Creed for like Christmas or something, and then your grandma would go buy a game for you.
And just like the Asylum version of Assassin's Creed.
This one would be $10 less retail because I think it is a budget title, $10 or $20 less. So then this would be the one you would get.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, they look the same on the cover. In those outfits.
Or like those Asylum movies, like Transmorphers.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Things like that. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, it's not that great. I mean, the camera, I'm fighting with it a lot. It's really twitchy. It's not so bad, but it's kind of set pretty high, so you can't see too far in front of you. It's kind of just angled up a little too downward looking.
Sure.
Nice.
So when you tilt it to try and see forward, and it's really twitchy, and I haven't gone into the controls to see if you can change the sensitivity.
Yeah, that would be good.
Because I move it around a little bit, and it really goes, and it just like snaps all over the place. The voice at work is... It's okay, but the character animations are really poorly done. Like you play as the guy you're playing, the Templar you're playing, you have two that you can control because I think you can do the game co-op as well.
Oh,
split screen, and I believe you can do split screen, and you can do it online. I don't know how much more fun that would be. And it would require you to know somebody else who has the game, which I don't know how common that's going to be.
Someone else, maybe your cousin.
Maybe Grandma got you both the wrong game. But you can switch. You can hit the bumper button and switch, kind of like how in Dragon Age, or not Dragon Age. Yeah, Dragon Age. Yeah. You could switch your other characters in the party. You can switch that with the bumper button, and you control the other guy, which I don't really note any difference because you can increase their stats. You do collect, like, get experience points, and you can increase their abilities and their stats, but their abilities kind of seem similar to me. Like, it didn't seem like they were, like, too different. And the branching paths that you have for your abilities, you have to purchase them to kind of see what everything else is along that path. And you don't really know what's there until you buy this thing and then kind of see what the next things are. It doesn't say, okay, well, this is like a strength path. This is a healing or, a defense path.
Yeah.
You don't get that impression from off the bat. It's just all these empty things that you don't know what they are. So hopefully you just pick the right way, and that gives you stuff you want. Or maybe it's all randomly mixed up, and I don't know, because everything, it doesn't tell you anything about how you're going along as far as upgrading. And then it's like you're finding these hidden treasure chests in all these different stages. It's pretty linear. You're going into a stage and you're going down a set path, and the map is really directing you where you need to go to your objective. But there's also hidden objectives that you can do and hidden treasure chests you can find, but they're marked on your map. So it's not like you have to search out too much. You get close enough and it has an arrow that points you to where this hidden treasure chest is.
Weird.
Okay, great. Or sometimes you'll get to an area and it'll be a mystery. It'll be like a question mark to let you know there's something around there.
Yeah.
But it's literally like right in that area. Like it'll be like a building and it's just on the back of the building.
Was this like a failed Nicolas Cage movie?
I guess.
Maybe the playtesters were like, this is too hard, and this was their solution.
It's very not hard. I'll tell you that. And then the combat is not difficult at all. I mean, it's basically just you're attacking. You do have, with the X button, you just attack with your sword. And then with the A button, you attack with your shield and hit them. You do have a defense that you can use and hold up your shield, but you don't really need to. Like, you can just hack through everybody. They're pretty stupid.
Yeah.
And they don't really mount attacks too well at you. I did have a couple bigger boss battles where you fight like a bigger guy, and I would have to roll out of the way of his attacks once in a while, but that was about it. I don't know. It was just weird. I was talking about finding those treasure chests. You do find like other items, and you do get other weapons in the game, but you can go in and change those, but they don't make any kind of change to your status. Like, so I had a guy that I could change his sword from the one I was using to another one that he got. All that was different was its name. There was like, it wasn't like it was, oh, this will increase your stats here.
Right.
This gives you this other benefit. It was just, you could choose it and it didn't do anything, which
Weird.
I don't understand
That's
at
bizarre.
all.
Yeah.
It just, I guess everything seems half-assed, about it, like just thrown together. And then treasure chests, some of them you would open, you would just get experience points. So you would like open an experience or a treasure chest, and it's like, you found 500 experience points.
Well,
Did I really? Do you eat those? Do I wear them?
Rectally.
Do I put the suppositories?
Because you found
XP
a
suppositories.
hidden treasure chest that an arrow pointed at.
That's right.
That's experience.
That's your experience. I didn't really understand. I didn't understand how I was getting those. So I don't know. I've got a couple levels in. It seems like it plods on for quite a while, which I don't really know what it's going to do too much more than what it's done.
That's too bad.
Yeah. So I wouldn't look forward to it too much. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're bored. But I would recommend LA Noire
Yes.
highly.
Buying that bastard.
Are you?
I'm gonna.
I bought it.
I got a $20 off Best Buy rewards thing I just got. Must have got points just
So there you
recently,
go.
So I can bring that price down a little bit.
Do you have any interest in it, Craig?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll make you borrow mine.
Yeah.
Make me...
Because I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I finished it this last week, and I want right now to do a private chat.
That's not gonna happen.
But
for
that's
me.
not going to happen. So I can't do that. But until I can, what did you think about the game?
I kind of thought going in I kind of had expectations. They were met, but at the same time, they were kind of blown out of the water just by the way that they set them up and making them like old time serials and having like the intros and the narrator. And I thought that was fantastic. It was a nice little. I dug it. I really dug that part of the story.
I got to tell you, and since you just mentioned that, I'll piggyback on because it's one of my notes that I had, and I didn't realize it until today. And that is,
You didn't realize it was one of your notes till today?
I didn't realize that
You
it
secretly wrote it.
no, it wasn't a note today. My question I didn't think about until today, which was, there was that narration at the front.
yeah.
It drops off and doesn't happen again the rest of the game.
Really?
And I was like, what happened to that? Because at the beginning, it's like in front of each of the cases, because the cases are presented, it's almost episodic.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way you play the game.
Oh, yeah.
And it's tailored for DLC down the road, because they just add
big
in
time.
more cases.
Yeah.
So you do a case, you solve it, get to the end, it gives you like a little screen that tells you how you did on the case. And then it starts the next one. And
S-rank.
they all start with like a nameplate that has like the name of the case, and then there's a narrator that's like, you chose blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
You got it in the city. Blah blah. It's all this. Really.
Maybe you have to
heavy
find the
noir
narrator's
stuff.
murderer.
Maybe he got killed somewhere. That better be a DLC case. Somebody killed the narrator. But it happens, and then didn't realize it until today that it kind of stops and it doesn't come back. And I'm
That's
like,
too bad.
that seems like a weird drop of an idea that they had at the beginning, and they just didn't extend it out.
Do
I
they
don't
still
know.
go with the angle like the names of the cases? Like
Yeah.
They still do that.
Yeah, everything stays the same.
Yeah, I mean,
And there's
that's
still
really
like an
neat.
initial like you get a little like cinematic at the beginning when the case starts. You
Yeah.
kind of see what's going on,
yeah.
and then it leads to you getting here you got to go check out this scene, and you go do that. But the narration stops, which is weird. I don't know, it's really minor, but it's just
Yeah.
weird that it gets dropped like a third of the way through the game completely. Everything going into the game, however, was all about the tech that they're using, the facial animation stuff.
Yeah.
With Team Bondi doing all this stuff, and Rockstar, I guess. I can see Rockstar's print all over this game too.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, everybody wants to tout the Team Bondi thing, but Rockstar definitely had a hand in some of the gameplay in this. But the facial animation stuff is amazing.
Yep.
Like it is. I don't know how I'm going to go back to seeing other games.
It would be really weird
because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very like it blew me away. Like just like it kept going. Like I thought they were mostly just cutscenes. Got it. It was mostly just things like that.
Nailed it. Cutscene.
Yay! Achievement unlocked. But there was like. It just kept going, and there was a lot of the mannerisms of people, the way that they were able to do like eye looks and just like. You know, you could see someone as nervous, or you could see someone like. I just thought that was really just crazy.
The only thing that feeds into that is that everything then becomes over accentuated almost.
A little
where,
bit, yeah.
You know, because if they make it so that you're looking for somebody to lie, well, then it's really obvious that they're like lying. They're either staring at you straight ahead when they're telling the truth, or they're like rolling their eyes like 100 times and like like looking all around. And I'm like, really? I get it, dude.
But graphically,
you're a liar.
The fact that you can recognize those actors that are actually talking,
which was
amazing. Really just crazy. Like I've seen that guy. Like once you meet the captain the first time, I'm like, I know that dude. I'm like, not personally, but and then the main character, I believe he was in Fanboys. I think I should have did some research on that. Yeah, he's in Mad Men.
Yeah,
I don't read that.
I think almost the entire cast of Mad Men's in this game.
But I thought that was awesome. And then when I got my first different outfit, I was happy.
And your outfits, I didn't care less about the outfits.
You can, but that's what these games are. It's all about fitting a role, and just I love it.
So here's where
you're like a good guy.
The game as an experience, it's kind of hard to talk about because I don't want to spoil anything and I don't want to get in depth. But the game as an experience and what you're going through in the game, it's so much more about the experience and less about the gameplay.
Yeah.
Like and so that's a weird balance for some people. I didn't mind it because you were experiencing a lot of it, and it really was reminiscent of my time with Heavy Rain.
Sure.
Except I was much happier with this experience in the end than I was with Heavy Rain. And there was something, even though Heavy Rain in some areas looked better, this felt like I had some more control somewhat.
Yeah.
It is still pretty linear, the cases that you go down.
Sure.
Which that was another thing I was looking forward to. It's like, oh, well, if you know, there are different branching paths, but ultimately you're still going to get to the same end result.
Sure.
And you can do different levels of success at that end result, but it's still going to get to the same area and move on in the story-wise.
Yeah.
With as much branching as it offers, though, that gives me some concern because there were some weird parts that I got to where I didn't have the right information, even though I, as a player, knew what was going on.
Yeah.
My guy couldn't say it because I either missed a thing to ask about because
you didn't find the evidence.
Yeah. So, and maybe it's better to start with the doubt lie truth because the main gameplay hook on that is when you're interrogating people or questioning people, you do have the option to choose. They tell you their statement. You can choose truth, doubt, or lie, which if you choose the right one, it'll lead you to the correct answer or more information, or even branching off into other questions that you can now open up.
Yep.
If you do the wrong one, it kind of just shuts that down and you have to try a different avenue to try and find information. For example, I had a guy who I went through and asked him some questions I didn't give the right way. I didn't ask him the right way. And I had to do a chase sequence or a follow sequence at the end. So he didn't give me any information. We had to camp out, wait for him to leave, and I had to follow him. Well, I kept getting caught, like seen. So I'm like, I was pissed. I'm like, I'll just stop and deal with this later because I hate follow missions no matter what game they're in. And this is no different. And it's terrible. Maintain a right distance. Not too far, not too close. Oh, he saw you. Great. I'm out of here. So I went back and read it later. Well, I had to do the questioning again. I'm like, well, great. So at least I knew some of the questions to maybe try and do a different path.
Yeah.
Which I did. And now he gave me the information. I didn't have to do that follow thing at the end. That was awesome.
This sounds kind of like Alpha Protocol.
It does have
where
aspects
you have
of
to
that.
kind of understand the type of person and how they're going to react to different things.
That is the key.
Yeah.
And that's maybe where my biggest critique of that comes from because the truth, doubt, lie, they make a statement and you can choose truth, doubt, or lie. It's not like Mass Effect where you have some semblance of what your question or your line is going to be.
Right.
There's no context. So truth could be still probing them for more information, just in a nice tone. Doubt could be, you know, they're not telling the full truth, but you don't have, and that's the other thing is understanding the difference between doubt and lie.
Right.
And that's probably the biggest speed bump in this game for me. And for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah.
It's that, you know, lie, you have the concrete you know, you can you have the evidence
on hand
that counters what they're saying, and you can prove it. Doubt is, you know, they're not telling the truth, but you can't prove it. And so sometimes, and the problem with that is that you might not have the evidence, so you choose doubt, but the evidence is out there, you just didn't get it.
Right.
So you still technically get it wrong because you didn't ever have the option to get it right. And so there's some of that where it kind of breaks down for me and like falls apart. Still, it works in the long run. It's still a fun idea, you know, fun way to do it. And it makes you more consistent. And you get better as you go along in the game at doing that stuff too.
I got a little aggravated at one point because I had, you know, the question that rose it was a lie, and I called him out on it. But the evidence, like when I went back with the question, it was totally different than I thought they were even going to go. And I'm like, I have no evidence to back this up now, but I know he's freaking lying because I have other evidence that goes to him. And sometimes you don't know, didn't lead to it.
And then sometimes that's the best way to do it, is to choose lie and then kind of see what he's, because then they kind of specifically say, how can you prove I did this and this and this? And so now I know what he's asking. And anytime you accuse him of a lie, you can back out. So sometimes it's nice to see that option, but I think when you back out, it maybe makes them give less tells going on. I think I read that somewhere, that if you accuse them and come back.
Well, sure.
But then sometimes he just snaps, like Cole, the guy you're playing, like you're talking to a victim. And this fits into my problem with, I couldn't get invested in the characters at all. Really? Like Cole was an asshole. Like, and most of the people you play are assholes. And the other problem is that it's 1947, so they're all like complete assholes to women. But that's the way that it's supposed to be. But I understand that. But it's like, still, it makes me have no compassion for any of them whatsoever. So like, I can't get invested into the character at all because I don't really care what happens to him. He's kind of a dick. Like, he comes in and questions people, and he'll like talk to victims, or he'll come in and somebody's been murdered, and he'll come in and be like, "When's the last time you saw your wife?" And he's like, "Well, she left for work this morning." And then so it's like, if you question or doubt that, like if he may have information, so you doubt him, and he's like, well, "Your wife's been found dead," and the guy's like, "What?" I'm like, "You're an asshole, dude. Like, be nice about this shit." But you don't have that context to know how he's going to be, so he'll be like super aggressive, and I just wanted to be a nice guy. Maybe try the nice guy route.
I think he's nice as a whole.
More flies with honey.
That's right.
I mean, you know, he started he's just a beat cop. There's some really neat aspects.
I like going up the ranks too. You know, I like starting as a cop, and you go up to the different desks and like have the different options.
I like finding the hidden items. There's some newspapers throughout the game that have these other stories involved with it that I thought was fantastic. I thought they were
the background
neat.
story.
Yeah, these little
I couldn't get vested into some of that stuff.
Really?
It changed for me on the second half, and that's why, you know, I would love to talk about more, but I can't.
Sure.
Because I don't want to ruin it for people. Yeah. I did get more invested towards the end, and right in the last fourth of the game, I kind of did a 180 on my feelings for some of the characters, as far as like really feeling something for them.
Yeah.
But not in the way that you would think.
Yeah.
And that's why I would love to talk about it. But I'm not, as of yet.
I would like to just smack some of the witnesses and the people I question sometimes too, because it's the attitude, and that's the only thing I don't like about it, because I'm thinking Grand Theft in my head, and then I could just smack them around.
It's a hard separation.
Yeah.
Because like I said, Rockstar, you know, while they're not labeled on there as being the developer of the game, they still, I mean, you can tell they had a presence in here. And so there is that there, but you still have to separate it because it's not Grand Theft Auto.
Well, just driving around, I felt like I was in San Andreas, not like the game a little bit. Some of the locales and things like that. Was it?
The city was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
The layout and the build up of the city was just really well done. I think like one of the loading screens says like 90% of the city's been recreated.
And it was there's an awesome, like right off the bat, like I was in a hot pursuit, and and there's like a road that just ends, and it's a big jump down to another road. And I was like, whee! And then I just bounced off the road. And that's what I thought was awesome too, is like those effects in the driving. Driving's totally Grand Theft again. It's a little smoother.
I'm the opposite.
Really?
But I might be revisioning in my head too. I might have like revisionist history going on there, and like thinking that Grand Theft was so much better than it was, because it's not good in here.
Yeah, I find it to be a little bit smoother. I think the AI for people is a little bit better, especially if you have your siren on. Siren's awesome. The sound's great. Radio station, there's just one of them.
Well, people
but I love the music.
People will jump out. It's hard to kill people in the game, which is good. Yeah, and so that is one change up.
Since you're a cop and you don't want to kill,
and that's
people.
Good. Yeah, you know, and it does have. If you do kill people, I think it has a negative effect on your overall score for solving the case too, because you shouldn't be out there killing folks. I guess.
Or running him over, which I totally did, like hardcore. It was bad.
But those people will pull
tried to get
out of the way.
Yeah.
Like to get out of the way of your car.
And I still got him.
Well,
but I did kind of swerve again.
But I find the other traffic attacks you. You don't find that?
Not really if I have my horn going. So
see, I found it like I would come
siren
up.
Going.
I find that they don't even make sense traffic-wise half the time. Where lights will be red and they'll go through. Like the AI traffic isn't even paying attention. They're just trying to get into your way. And I think that's done on purpose.
I just don't like the trains.
Some of those chase sequences, I think that they make the cars...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously they make cars come in your way, but I think that going through an intersection, they make them pull out in front of you.
I wouldn't doubt
and it's like the
that at
lights
all.
are red. And I'm
Yeah.
like, really?
I wouldn't
I
doubt
think that's
that at
not
all,
really
though.
that believable. Thanks. And in fact, I have a problem with the chases in general because there are car chases, there are foot chases where you'll be tracking people down. There's sometimes people will run, you have to chase them down. And even some of the side missions you do, because there are, as you're patrolling around or driving around, there'll be calls that come through on your police radio that you can respond to. That I didn't do in-game. You can do them anytime, but you can go back later and do them from your desk as well and do like free roam and do any of those cases that are out there. So I recommend waiting on those. But on some of those, you'll have to like subdue suspects or apprehend them, and they don't really make it clear that if you're supposed to kill them or not.
Yeah.
And most of them end up you just have to shoot them because they're going to eventually run until they get somebody, and then you have to shoot them anyway.
Sure.
Like get a hostage situation. But a lot of the in-game chase sequences are almost pointless, and even to the fact that they pop up on the screen, like you can skip it. Like if you fail it enough times, like there was multiple times where I'm chasing a guy down or I was chasing him with my car and it would pop up. It's like, you can skip this action sequence and just go to the next cutscene.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like at the end of it. So it's not even required to like finish it. That's how pointless they kind of are. And I was in the Grand Theft mind frame where I was like, okay, I'm going to chase this guy in my car. We're going to get up, shoot his tires out, get him. But it's all completely scripted as far as they maintain a speed that's always going to be, you can't go faster than them.
Yeah.
And so they're always going to slow down at the same spot. You're always going to pull up to them at the same spot. And all that is completely scripted. And that really took me out of like enjoying some of those sequences, because it wasn't about, getting, on them and getting them and spinning them out. I couldn't even do it for another 4 blocks anyway, because the game won't let me.
I put one guy into a telephone pole. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
It was so awesome because the AI was just constantly battling me and trying to get ahead, and I just stayed out. I was able to stay out in front, just ran him into it. But
So at any point, does the police chief threaten to suspend you because you're a loose cannon?
No.
Oh.
And in fact, that's part of my problem. See, that's stuff I can't get into. That's part of my problem I have with the character. He's kind of just worthless, in my opinion. Because there's times he should.
No lethal weapon.
No, and it should be. He should be. He should be tearing things down from the inside.
Yes.
nah,
He's a puss.
Well, I think I like his route he's taken. I think he's a good guy, but I haven't gotten that far. I just got promoted to homicide, and then I returned it because I'm gonna buy it.
What a loser.
I am.
That's when it starts getting awesome. Because then you get a lot of variety.
It got really real once you went to
get really
homicide.
real. Yeah,
like they
you
have
do these because you're at the traffic desk first. You're doing traffic crimes.
Yeah, some of the evidence was a little racy during those ones, a little bit, but then you get to homicide and you're like, "Hey, how's it going?
That's a naked body,
How's your father?" But
Funny.
and it's got violent things happen to it.
very much so.
Yeah, it gets real.
Yep.
It gets real.
Corner's really cool. I dig talking to him.
So, what did you feel about like finding the evidence and all that stuff?
I liked it.
Like, I enjoy that stuff a lot. Did you leave all the helps on? I found that I had to.
Oh, I like what?
Because it defaults to having the helps on. So, like when you walk by something, it vibrates or makes a ding noise.
Oh, it just
you can turn all that stuff off.
Oh, okay.
And my thing is, why would you turn it off? Because then I would just be going around constantly pressing my A button to hope that because there's objects everywhere, but not everything you can like inspect or pick up.
Yeah.
So I left the cheat or the help, quote unquote, help on, because otherwise I would just
call
be
it intuition.
spamming the button. Well, there is intuition in the game as well.
Yeah.
So
gut check.
there's intuition in the game. So when you level up, because you get experience points for doing things like solving crimes and things like that. And so as you go up, you get little bonuses, and some of them are intuition points. And you can spend those intuition points to when you're questioning people, or you can actually use them to find clues too.
Yeah, that too.
So if you're at a crime scene, you can spend 1 point, and it'll show you on your map, your little mini map, where all of the spots are, or all the clues are. But you can do it while you're questioning people, and it'll give you. It's very like a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire style.
Yeah, it's like ask a like they give you a percentage of what people think is doubt, lie, or truth.
Yeah, so when you go into that and use your
community or whatever,
when you use your intuition, it gives you a percentage of people who answered the question correctly while they used an intuition, and then in there you can eliminate one of the truth, doubt, or lies, or you can ask the community. And it gives you the percentage of what everybody answered.
Everybody's answered. Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So that's a neat way to do it. I mean, it's interesting. It's a nice way to involve the community in that and see what everybody else is doing. I should go through a bunch of times and do it wrong just to screw up their numbers.
There you go. That's why they wouldn't play me, because I'm just like, I don't know.
Ruin people.
Doubt.
So, in terms of gameplay, that kind of stuff does get
I'm a bad detective.
You are doing the same thing over and over. Yeah. I mean, it is the same thing over and over. So you really do have to have some kind of investment in the case that you're solving, which I did. The overall branching story, not so much until towards the second half of the game for me. But the individual case that I was in, I wanted to see where it progressed to.
That's what
so that was good to drive me.
That was the other thing I really liked, and I wasn't expecting. I was expecting a free for all, kind of like your Red Deads, your Grand Thefts. But this I really like the fact that when I'm done with one, I can just be done with it and then start over and come back into a new mission. I like that. I could space them out.
I was doing it episodic, like we were. I mentioned earlier. I was doing one case a day, and they were taking about an hour. And then I hit a weekend, and I'm like, I'm totally going to barrel through some of these, so that didn't hold up. But because I really wanted to get to the end, because I was enjoying it. But you can do it episodic, which I really like.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, and it feels like it just by the intros, and I guess without the narrator now.
I know it's weird.
Spoiler.
And you mentioned the collectibles. There's those papers you find around that tell a little story, but then there's also like other collectibles that are kind of pointless, but they're still in there. And that's like finding these film reels. They're film reels of famous like old movies.
Very cool.
They're very, very hidden. Like you literally will not find them unless you like get a guide and find them. Yeah. I mean, because it's not even like in Grand Theft where it's pigeons and you can listen.
Yeah.
Like there's no tell. It'll like be completely behind a house. And that area is huge.
Yeah.
So it's like behind a house on a porch and you just got to go get it. And there's 50 of those around. And then there's all the different vehicles you can find. There are hidden vehicles that they'll give you the locations of, and you can go find those. And those are like little like special vehicles that you can get.
Sports cars. One I got was a little two-door guy, and we went flying.
It was awesome.
And that's when I hit a pedestrian.
So there's all kinds of those things. But
hardcore, too.
But you talk about the Grand Theft thing being your problem of getting so sidetracked or Red Dead, and it's like you don't get the story. And this is very not like that. It's like it won't really let you go sidetracking too much because there's not anything to do.
Yeah.
Other than looking for those things that are going to be a completely random.
So kind of like Mafia 2?
Yeah, it's very much like Mafia 2. Yeah. It feels like that a lot.
Mm-hmm. But it's more, like you said, it's episodic, and it's really, you don't
But even Mafia 2 felt episodic.
Because
times, you would, at the end of the day, you'd kind of go back to your house, and that would be, that would be a good stopping point for some of those. Except it had terrible save.
I felt like it was a movie.
Yeah. Well, that's what I feel about this.
I think it's just a TV show.
Oh, sorry. So it's a movie versus a TV show.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a TV show. This is a serial. Very, very cool.
I'm serial. I'm in love with the tech that they used.
Pulaski or whatever his name was from Traffic.
I can't remember.
He was awesome.
Your partner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was awesome. He went off.
You got some good partners.
He's like, he's a good guy. Me, not so much.
Oh, the good cop, bad cop routine?
Well, yeah. And then they got shot up. Spoiler. Awesome game, though. I'm going to buy it. I should have bought it when it came out, but I wanted to try it out first.
I sounded like, I do have a lot of issues with it. I think that some of the gameplay does fall apart. But the overall like story and the way that, they're using the tech, and I think it's a great experience.
Yeah.
But some of the gameplay stuff falls apart for me, but I mean, as experiencing an episodic show, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
It's a game that I would like to even go through a second time and just know everything, and then after I've done everything already, I did with some of them. I played through them twice just because I wanted to get those correct answers.
Cool.
And then as I caught more and more, I'm like, I can't do them all. I'll wait and do it later.
And I'm totally gonna get my copy to Craig sometime.
Cool. It'll be
this
fun.
Summer, maybe.
I think
and then we totally can do a private chat, and I can say all the stuff I want to say, and we can break down the characters.
Break it down one time. Sounds
that it?
It's still fun.
I know. We'll talk about it more.
Really
You're going to
cool.
play it more,
Yep,
and so
I am.
we'll talk about it. I'm sure there's stuff I forgot. There's so much with the game, so I loved it.
I thought it's a nice period piece, too. I think it's really cool. Yeah.
All right, that it, kids?
That's it.
And wrap this up.
Word with a bow.
Signedinpodcast.com. That is us online.
Yes.
Links to our Twitter, our Facebook.
Occasional contests.
So don't miss out on those. Catch you sleeping.
Check it hourly.
All of hourly. I think I updated it once this weekend. So, oh wait, the website.
But
no,
you're not going to know
you won't
when
know.
it's updated.
The past episodes, there's links to all those.
Yeah.
And our forums. Get on there and talk with us. Play some games with us.
Yeah.
Or at least Craig.
Exactly.
Sean and I don't play with anybody.
You guys suck.
And all the other pseudo radio shows.
I need shades in my house so I can actually sleep in. I've been getting up every morning at 7. I was up today at 7.
That's
AM.
too bad.
Yeah. So my nights don't. I go to bed really early.
You could email us
So you're
anytime.
like-
sorry to
yeah,
interrupt
yeah,
your
sorry.
guys'.
I'm sorry to interrupt your
No, it's all
spiel
right.
with my sleeping habits
That's good.
that have changed.
You can email us anytime at comments@signedinpodcast.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes.
Again, send us ideas for the signed in drinking game.
Yeah.
Maybe we can share some of those on the next episode.
Or your favorite wuzzle.
Or your favorite wuzzle.
Or your wuzzle drinking
Oh,
game.
Jesus. Wuzzle drinking. If you find us on iTunes, please leave a review. It would be greatly appreciated. That helps us considerably.
And try to leave the wuzzles out of it.
Yeah.
That might cast
Actually,
a
I
wrong
would-
pallor.
No, that might be the right incentive somebody needs. If you haven't left a review yet, I challenge you to do it and work wuzzles into it. So please make that happen.
Oh, goodness.
And next episode, there's a couple games coming out. Hunted, something.
Yes.
Can't remember what the other part of that,
That was
title
good.
is.
I've
Nice
seen
job.
It. I've seen
Demon's
it.
Forge.
I've seen it
I
promoted
think.
in most
Oh,
of my
yeah,
comic
yeah,
books. I think it is.
Yeah.
And Red Faction Armageddon
Yes.
is coming out. So I think I'll probably check that out.
Can't remember what XBLA is coming out.
I can't either.
Isn't that Bay City Rollers game coming out?
Bay City Rollers.
Or Rage City?
Rage City.
Retro City
Rampage.
Comes out in late June.
Okay.
It shouldn't be out by the next episode.
That looks stupid awesome.
Yeah. Gears War 3 trailer is up and it comes out September 20th.
Oh my God.
I'm freaking out.
You all right?
Yeah.
You're kind of terrifying me right now.
I want to play it so bad.
Are we done?
That's it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
If you are receiving this transmission, this has been a pseudo radio production. Repeat, this has been a pseudo radio production, copyright 2011.